The Senior Advisor of ICYF, and it's with great pleasure that I welcome you today. I welcome you today to this very special edition talk with His Excellency, Mr. Anar Karimov. So Mr. Anar Karimov, Excellency, dear participants, we are very, very pleased to have you with us today. We have very special edition talk with special guests. We welcome you, and please let me introduce you to our guests, to our participants first, because we wanted them to be going with you to the trail of becoming who you became today. And this is a great example for our young people. So His Excellency Anar Karimov graduated from Baku University with a BA degree in Middle East and Oriental Studies. And he obtained his master's degree in international relations and diplomacy at the State Academy of the Public Administration under the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. His Excellency Mr. Karimov also studied diplomacy at the Mustansiriya University in Iraq, at the Institute Diplomatic Studies in Egypt, at the Vienna Diplomatic Academy in Austria, also in San Remo International Institute of Humanitarian Law in Italy. His diplomatic career started very early in 2000, and he served in many key positions, starting from the Department of Human Rights and Democratization and Humanitarian, from the department in the Department of Humanitarian, the Department of the Humanitarian Rights and Democratization in the Republic of Azerbaijan. From 2004 to 2008, he served at the Embassy of Azerbaijan. He served at the Embassy of Azerbaijan in the Kingdom of Belgium and the mission of the European Union in Brussels. From 2010 to 2014, His Excellency served as the Chancellor or the Chancellor Deputy Permanent Delegate Chargé d'Affaires of the Permanent Delegation of the Republic of Azerbaijan to UNESCO. In 2014, he was appointed Ambassador Permanent Delegate to the Republic of Azerbaijan to UNESCO. 2019, His Excellency Mr. Karimov was honored with the rank of Ambassador Extraordinary by the decree of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. And also in 2019, by the decree of the President of Azerbaijan, he was awarded a degree for a service of the nation of Azerbaijan, the motherland. In 2022, Mr. Karimov was appointed as the first Vice Minister of Culture, Acting Minister of the Republic of Azerbaijan. And sooner after that, in 2021, he became the Minister of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan. So we're having with us today a very distinguished guest who is moreover a young person with a long career in diplomacy and culture. And Excellency, as you know, more than ever before, youth across the Muslim world cannot be underestimated when it comes to deciding the future of the region from all angles. And we are very thankful to you to accept to speak with us today on this special topic, because the youth need to be at the decision-making process and actively taking part in the change by envisioning what they wish to see in the future. And as you know, in ICYF, our mandate and our mission is to help these young people to pave the path forward for them to reach their potential and also to shape their future as possible, as best as possible. And as we know also that the Muslim population will be expanded and surpassing 2.2 billion in 2030, which the most population will be youth. And we need to better understand effective mechanisms on how to engage youth. So in today's panel, Excellency, Mr. Karimov, we wish to learn from your very extensive extensive experience and as a scholar in culture and specialized on cultural issues, and a diplomat, on how what do you want to say to the young people? How can they shape the culture in the region? And how can they be very proactive and the makers of the future, not just a subject to a global cultural change or modernity, subject to modernity. With our highly skilled guest today, the Minister of Culture in the Republic of Azerbaijan, we're looking to have a very special session, and we are really eager to learn from your great experience. So the floor is yours, Excellency.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Moderator, for this introduction. I'm very pleased and honored to be part of these discussions, talks, as you call it, special edition talks. And first of all, I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum for creating such a platform, interesting platform, which enables us to share our vision and our experience on such important topics like this one, and the engagement of youth in shaping of culture. Thoughts on how to build the future that we want naturally make our attention concentrate on youth and the shaping of culture. And being as an important as it can, our today's topic is quite actual and always remains on the global agenda. There are a number of youth-specific and culture-specific targets spread over the Sustainable Development Goals. Indeed, the quality of our future life will largely depend on the decisions we take today. And we need to understand that today we are taking decisions that will impact our life in future. And this concept of sustainability itself focuses on meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And being the main bridge between the current and future generations, eventually youth should decide in which direction we have to live and we have to go, and in which way to pivot our culture. In other words, youth can play a crucial, I would say, a decisive role in shaping of our culture, in preserving the culture and transmitting it to the new generations. When it comes to the experience of Azerbaijan, I would like to say that the care for youth, which makes 23.6% of the country's population, is the important part of our state policy. We can divide this into the several elements like legislation. We adopt the law on youth policy in 2002, the state programs on the youth of Azerbaijan, the youth development strategy. All these documents, legal, I would say institutional legal framework, create a favorable conditions for the young people for the development of their career skills and the future. As a part of the Islamic civilization, Azerbaijan is always attached to great importance to its historical and cultural heritage. And we see youth as the major driving force to maintain our cultural identity and also to promote it and to preserve for further generations. I think it's the first time in this region, Eastern Europe, I would say, Caucasus region, the Youth Day as a special day dedicated to youth was declared in Azerbaijan and become celebrated since 1997. In 1999, according to the resolution adopted by UN General Assembly, August 12th is celebrated as International Youth Day. So Azerbaijan adopted this decision 2 years before that UN came to this conclusion that we should dedicate a special day for the youth. The government's policy related to the youth is very important in terms of empowering youth in a way that they will take an active part in many parts of our life, even in the decision making, somehow in elaborating, I would say, decisions or legislation or policies related to the culture, for example, or to education, whatever is related somehow to the youth. Youth are active part of an engaged part of this kind of discussions. And this is very important in terms of policy of Azerbaijan's policy to empower the youth, that they will feel that they are very important and active part in this process. By the order of the president of our country, Ilham Aliyev, 2020 has been declared the year of volunteers. As you may know, the volunteers, the volunteers is composed of youth. And in this regard, 4th March 2020, the Creative Azerbaijan, the movement that we created within the Ministry of Culture, launched the process of formation of the Creative Azerbaijan Volunteers movement. And this movement aims to strengthen the participation of young people in the field of culture and creative industries. You know, the creative industries becomes more and more active and more important in today's life. And the involvement and engagement of youth in this process is very crucial and important. And we are already created, as I said, this kind of movement of Creative Azerbaijan Volunteers movement that works with the creative industries sector and the people to give them, to exchange the ideas and best practices and further increase the knowledge and the skills in these areas. The Ministry of Culture traditionally holds a festival called Voice of Youth every year in order to identify young talents, support their creative skills, knowledge, and achievements to discover new faces, new talents. This is also very good in terms of encouragement of the talents to pursue their creative knowledges and creative skills. One of the indicators of this attention of the government to the youth and care for the youth is the establishment of award, a special award, presidential award for young people who have distinguished themselves in various fields of like science, culture, literature, art, education, social activities, and etc. This year, for example, we have 10 young people who received this award. This is another way how we can encourage the youth to participate in the social life of the people. There are a number of other examples within the country that have been initiated to foster active participation of youth in culture to further ensure their contribution in shaping of our culture. We all know that the COVID pandemic created a lot of problems when it comes to the culture and the social activities. But despite the COVID pandemic, our ministry supported youth with various activities. like initiatives like stay at home, create at home, support art, tell the story of the museum exhibit, virtual discussions, meetings such as Creative Azerbaijan, virtual platform, and many other trainings aimed to support and keep motivated young and creative people in these difficult times. In total, more than 30 projects, campaigns, and competitions have been implemented in this period, and this is still ongoing process. Striving to increase the role of youth in culture, we also put some efforts on international level. For instance, in 2019, Azerbaijan hosted 43rd session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee. And within this framework, two major youth events were also held in our country. The Young Professionals Forum, which took place in 4 different locations, 2 of which were World Heritage sites. The young participants gained practical knowledge of the 1972 World Heritage Convention for the protection of cultural and religious natural heritage through a series of presentations, roundtables with the participation of foreign and local heritage experts. They also got acquainted with the Sustainable Development Goals and the global concepts of the new urban agenda. In the end, the forum participants presented their declarations as an outcome of this Young Professionals Forum. Besides that, supported by the Ministry of Culture, the project which we called it Now It Is Our Turn to Protect was organized with the participation of young volunteers from different countries. The project was selected by UNESCO World Heritage Volunteers Program and also held in 2019 in Azerbaijan. Nevertheless, we have to admit that we are all observe that the world today is changing at a very rapidly, in a very rapid way, and in a way that it has never changed before. And the digital disruption and the fourth industrial revolution in general are already reality. So virtual reality lifts up the borders of different kinds of getting people from different culture closer to each other. And today, no person in the world has more information in the mind than Google, for example. It seems as to ensure the existence of something, it almost necessarily should be in Google and found by search engines within the seconds. And one of the main challenges in front of culture is to keep the ability to look beyond and maintain its inspirational and aesthetic functions in the age of technologies and digital revolutions and innovations. When the lifestyle of people are rapidly changing in all the world, they become busier with emerging ocean of activities. The humanity needs reshaped culture capable to inspire and empower in this digital time. The culture shows the beauty of creation and making a human being feel alive, but not, I would say, robotized by daily routine. And according to the theory of cultural determinism, ideas, meanings, beliefs, and values people learn as a member of society determines human nature. People are what they learn. In such period of time, of course, we are discussing how shaping of culture should be managed and how youth can be involved in this process. Youth are always in the front line of these beginnings, and they are most adaptive group in the society that can harness and can take a benefit from these virtual and digital realities. Therefore, to envisage tomorrow's circumstances and to build sustainable culture in Islamic civilization, for instance, it's necessary to promote the spirit of genuine Islamic values that empower a human being. Values as justice, mutual respect, friendship, brotherhood, peaceful coexistence, lifelong learning, self-development, devotion could bring only positive change to our planet. And we believe that youth can play a driving force in delivering these values to our planet. Being committed to the centuries-old values and traditions of peaceful coexistence and located in these crossroads of civilizations, of course, Azerbaijan always stands ready and stands very active and proactive to disseminate these values and to create a platforms of dialogue among cultures. For instance, since 2008, Azerbaijan launched a Baku Process, very famous Baku Process, which aims to promote intercultural and interreligious dialogue among, including the youth population and youth generations, to promote these values to sustain and maintain peace in the world. And since 2008, we organized on a biannual, once in 2 years, forums, international forums for intercultural dialogue, which gathers more than 1,000 participants from all over the world, including representatives of youth and youth organizations. So we have a special segment in these forums and in this Baku process, which is specifically dedicated to youth, which brings youth together and create this enabling environment for them to network with each other, to create, to establish contacts, to exchange the experiences, and also to share the values and visions about a peace and engagement of youth in these issues. Very important, I would say, and it's not just the words and there are real success stories and actions behind these forums that we organize. And we receive a lot of emails of thanks and support to the actions that Azerbaijan organize every 2 years. That this forum that we give and we provide it to the young people, this forum enables them to know each other. And we do believe that if we manage to cooperate and to preserve our diversity and further enrich our culture, then the differences between us will be a bridge for living peacefully in our world. So we need to accept the diversity and differences that we have and respect this. And the dangerous tendencies that we have in the world, like intolerance, xenophobia, Islamophobia, and other manifestations of discrimination, is a challenge for our humanity, and is the only way, we believe, to overcome these challenges is to create enabling environment for the youth to meet each other and to explain the differences, to accept these differences, and to respect this. Talking about challenges, we have to also note that the country, my country, who attached the significant importance to the protection of cultural heritage of humanity as a main marker of our identity, Azerbaijan had not been able to protect its own cultural historical monuments during the occupation of our territories for 30 years. And it was indeed very painful and embarrassing to see how centuries-old cultural and religious heritage left in these occupied territories in a very poor and miserable conditions, destroyed, partly damaged, partly desecrated or humiliated. And with the 40 days war that happened in the end of the last year, my country managed to restore, not only restore our territorial integrity or restore international law in these territories, but also we restored our honor, and we provide an opportunity to come back to these territories of our people and to restore our cultural heritage and religious heritage in these territories. Now, what awaits us is a long story of restoration of these territories, rebuilding its infrastructure, bringing back the forcibly displaced persons to these areas, and to bring back the spirit of culture to these territories. And we have to understand that we attach a significant role to the youth in this process. Why? Because we believe that youth can be a dynamic and driving, I would say, force in reviving the culture that was absent in these areas for 30 years. And now we are already working through different platforms, through different initiatives to involve youth into this process of bringing culture back to its origin, to Karabakh. The role of culture in maintaining peace and sustainable development also is at the forefront of international agenda for a long period of time. And we do believe that to promote the role of peace in maintaining culture and development, as well as to enable the role of peace in reviving culture, we need to be proactive and somehow creative. In that sense, the Republic of Azerbaijan, namely our Ministry of Culture, started a global campaign initiative, which we called with hashtag Peace for Culture. This global call aims, first of all, to promote the peace in order to revive culture, ensure the peaceful return of people to the lands which were already post-conflict lands, to bring them back in safety and dignity, to revive their traditions in these territories. For that, we need peace. And to promote peace, we started this global call. Secondly, we believe that this Peace for Culture campaign also will highlight the role of culture in maintaining peace. It will show how important is culture and youth in maintaining peace in post-conflict situations. And thirdly, it's an opportunity for Azerbaijan to demonstrate that despite the occupation, despite the cultural, ethnic cleansing, cultural genocide committed in our territories, when our mosques, our tombs, our cemeteries were destroyed or desecrated, despite all these, Azerbaijan still calling for peace in this land, that we still believe in power of dialogue and peaceful coexistence between nations and cultures and religions. We still believe that by this Peace for Culture campaign, we can empower the youth in reconciliation, in confidence building measures between communities in this region. And this global campaign that we started was supported already by two international organizations like ICYF, Islamic World Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, as well as by UN Alliance of Civilizations Organization. These two, I would say, global international organizations already not only expressed their support to this peaceful culture, they became an official partners of this campaign. And here I would like to use this opportunity to call for the support of your organization, of Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, that this organization also will become an official supporter or partner of our global call, thus also bringing a necessary component of youth engagement into this process. Last but not least, I would like also to say that we announced also very important campaign within this Peace for Culture campaign, Create for Peace campaign, which aims to encourage creative people all over the world, in particular youth, by the way, to contribute to this sacred and honorable mission and accelerate the revival of cultural spirit, especially in post-conflict situations. So our aim through this Peace for Culture campaign to present this as a global, as I said, initiative, and to contribute to peace post-conflict rehabilitation processes all over the world, not only vis-a-vis to Azerbaijan and Armenia in this particular case, but all over the world, for instance, in Africa, in America, in in Asia, wherever there is a need for post-conflict rehabilitation in terms of bringing communities together and creating, as I said, a conducive environment for reviving of culture. We are ready to work there with our international partners. Again, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for bringing this opportunity to us to express our views and our vision, how youth can be engaged in shaping our culture, in shaping the peace in the world and in our region. I would like to use again this opportunity to thank you for this opportunity, and of course to convey my sincere congratulations to all of you on the occasion of upcoming Eid al-Adha, and I wish you good health, happiness, abundance to your homes. May this holiday bring peace and prosperity to our world. May Allah will protect us in these difficult times. Thank you very much.
Amin, Amin. Thank you very much, Excellency, Mr. Anar Karimov. I really can't find the right words to thank you for the very reflective, rich insights you shared with the young people today. I really enjoyed this session very much. I should share with our participants also that His Excellency speaks few languages, including English, French, and Arabic. I mean,
a little bit. Arabic, a little bit. Yes.
Barakallahu feek, shukran. So, answering one of the most important questions His Excellency already did for us is, which is, what can governments do to preserve the cultural values of youth? He shared with us the answers, and I like the most his inspiring sharing about how to keep the culture inspiring by its beauty, of the local cultures, protecting it from the robotized. That was really very beautiful insight from your side, Excellency. Also, your reflection speaks loads about your deep understanding to the issue of cultural identity in Azerbaijan and beyond. You covered the topic from all angles and touched on many aspects of the cultural diversity and the global values, especially cooperation and how to tackle the socio-cultural challenges among youth population. It was a great, actually, insights from your side. The initiatives of Azerbaijan also in this regard were an eye-opener for all of us on what can be done or what can governments do to promote the culture among young people. That was really a rich experience we heard from you today. And also, I can see from the interactions of the participants, Excellency, that they were very excited and they were engaged and they left so many questions for you. I will try to skip those questions that you already answered. However, there are some questions I try to summarize because they're coming more often. One of them is, Excellency, why the young people seem to struggle, really struggle to preserve their local culture, which is not understood by all young people that it's part of their identity. They don't look at it that way. And many of the Muslim youth around the globe are giving in to modernity. So this is the most asked question by our young people today. I would like you, please, if you could share a little bit more. You already covered it, but we will give you a chance to give us more from what you have. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is indeed very important issue, and I would say very challenging, not only for the youth, but in general for the societies to protect societies from these challenges of globalization and digitalization of everything. When one mass culture occupies everything in terms of TV, I don't know, film industry, music, in every part of the culture, in every segment of culture, you see the influences and I would say impacts, adverse impacts of globalization to our distinctive cultures, local cultures that we inherited from our ancestors. And it is our duty, as I said, to cherish, to preserve, and to transmit to the new generations. It is a challenging, it's really difficult in these times of digitalization and globalization, but we have no other choice. It is our culture as a marker of our identity is the only rope that we need to stick to preserve ourselves from this ocean of globalization or robotization. So only culture is the tool, is the meaning that preserves us from this kind of influences. I wouldn't comment that it's bad or good. It doesn't matter. We have influences of globalization, of digitalization to our cultures and to our lifestyle. It is a phenomenon that exists. We have to acknowledge this. So the only way is the education, is the only way to engage the youth in knowing better the culture, to be proud of the culture, of their culture, of local culture, to be proud of their history, identity, to read more about our history and traditions, to preserve our traditions. This is also the problem with the urbanization. Even without globalization, with this wide-scale urbanization, we sometimes neglect or forget our traditions, which existed in our rural areas, for instance, in local neighborhoods, like for instance. So this is also a challenge for the societies. So whenever you forget your traditions, of course, you are being disconnected somehow with your culture, with your identity, and you get vulnerable, you get accessible for other values and interventions. So we believe that our traditions, our culture is sort of a protection from influences from outside. And what we need to do is to protect this protection, our culture, by, as I said, awareness raising campaigns, by engaging of youth especially into these programs, education programs, training programs. I think this is the only way to protect ourselves from these external challenges.
Excellency, you seem to be deeply aware of the challenges of protecting and preserving local cultures, facing this global phenomena of digitalization, robotism, all the challenges you already shared in your very rich, reflective speech. The question is, how positive are you about the prospect of keeping the Islamic culture and the future of this culture in the life of youth? Can you envision seeing Islamic culture being able to be protected, especially as a Minister of Culture, that's one of your major missions is to see the young people holding to their cultures? Like, are you really hopeful, Excellency?
I'm hopeful. I'm always optimistic. I always believe that regardless of all these challenges, we stick to our identity and to our history and to our traditions and culture. The point is how we're resilient to these issues. So we need to create this resilience. We need to create the resilience of societies and especially of our young generations to these challenges. So again, we come back to the set of measures that needs to be taken. And this is must, and this is something that we should not neglect or how to say, or diminish the value of this. Otherwise, we become very vulnerable. We become very vulnerable and very adaptive to this kind of challenges.
Thank you very much. Yes, please.
Yes. Just want to tell you that, I mean, the organizations like your organization, ICYF or OIC, should elaborate some policies how to protect our cultures from this kind of tendencies that exist. Again, I shouldn't criticize that these tendencies are bad, etc. Of course, there are also positive sides. And the most important thing that we need to benefit from these digital and globalization issues as well. So this globalization and the digitalization of our life also provides enormous opportunities that we should take benefit of them. Of course, rejecting all this is not a solution. We need to, first of all, to preserve our identity and cultures. And at the same time, it's a reality. We cannot fight with this. It's an overwhelming reality. And we need to take benefits to use these solutions, use these opportunities that are created by this globalization and digitalization to achieve our goals, to use this for the benefits of our societies and people.
Sure. Thank you very much, Excellency. Another question coming from Mansoor Ali from Pakistan. He's saying, Excellency, is Azerbaijan playing a role in the world culture on peace and unity, like contributing to the world's culture on peace and unity? You shared some of initiatives of Azerbaijan. Maybe this is a chance to give a little bit more elaboration on the role Azerbaijan is playing in global culture.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, I said that in my introduction that we launched since 2008 this famous Baku process. The Baku process, when we started it, frankly speaking, we never even believed that it will become a global platform for the organizations, for international organizations, and for the international community, for many stakeholders, a platform for the cooperation. It started in 2008, and it became indeed a global platform. And now, in every 2 years that we organize the forums, it gathers more than 150 countries. I mean, participants from 150 countries are coming and discussing the outstanding issues related to the peace and the ways how we can achieve the peace. And as I said, youth becomes a very important and a dynamic part of this Baku process. We have also decision makers, ministers, parliamentarians, media representatives, I don't know, business community, as I said, youth, civil society, all segments of societies. We are bringing scientific community, academicians. I mean, all segments of societies we are bringing on board on this platform to discuss the ways how we can harness peace, preserve the peace, and what are the ways. And of course, Azerbaijan provides this opportunity. Azerbaijan gives this platform for this kind of discussions. We are very proud of this, and we believe that it is important. Again, it's not just organizing forums for the sake of forums. We see the value, added value of these forums. As I said, we received a lot of encouragements or I don't know, recognitions of the importance of the emails, thanking us for these initiatives that we create. Besides that, as I said, this Peace for Culture campaign also aims to promote peace and revive culture for the sake of reviving culture in post-conflict situations. You know, in general, this soft power is very important. We believe that the soft power in these days, soft power is the most important and most strong power, even if it is called the soft power, but it is most powerful power to deliver whatever you want to the minds of the people. Through soft power, you can achieve the minds of the people, hearts of the people, only through soft power. Because with the hard power or middle power, you can get resistance. With soft power, you can achieve what you want. That's what I learned from being an ambassador for 10 years in UNESCO. I saw how countries use this soft power to attain their goals. I don't comment whether these goals are noble or not. It's another issue. But how they use the soft power to achieve their interest. So we need to use the soft power also to attain the noble cause. Our cause is a noble cause. So we need to use this.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Again, it's very rich way of answering this question and going beyond to explain to our young people what can culture do, what can diplomacy do, and how the soft power can be actually a very powerful way of reaching out to our goals. And the last, I would not say last, there is another little question I will ask after this one, but this question is about how can Islamic culture affect the sustainable development goal in the region? And are you someone who believes that we should promote our Islamic culture as, to push the agenda of sustainability?
Of course, at the heart of Islamic culture and traditions and civilization lies the human, respect to human being and respect to humanity, human rights, gender equality, equality in general, the notion of equality introduced by Islamic values and Islamic civilization. So whenever you have a notion of equality and justice in your culture, of course, it contributes to the SDG goals, because SDG goals in the paper speaks about these values, about equality, justice, rights, protection of environment, and etc. So I absolutely believe that Islamic values and civilization and culture can not only contribute, I think it is in the substance of these SDG goals.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Indeed, it was a really rich speech and reflective, and also the questions where you marked very interesting ideas and insights for our young people to take with them today. And the last question is more of your advice or your final complementing, how to say, the butter on the top of all these wonderful things you shared with us. Some of our young people saying, how do we expect much from a young generation who don't read? So Excellency, what do you say to the young people who don't read about their history, about their culture, about their cultural heritage, and how can they really go back and take, like a reserve of this wonderful and rich history to go to the future or to be in the future? So this is something we wanted to take from your personal experience. You are very distinguished diplomats and distinguished experts on culture, and you end up in a great career. And we wish the young people to learn from your personal experience. Thank you very much, Excellency. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. What I've learned from my experience of being a diplomat for many years and also serving for my country in UNESCO is that at the heart of all problems that I've seen and I observe is the ignorance, is a lack of education and knowledge of issues. So my advice to younger generation, to our youth, that we need to learn and to educate ourselves as much as we can. We have a concept of lifelong learning. And this is a concept which perfectly fits and coincides with the Islamic values. That throughout all of our lives, we have to learn. No one can say that he knows everything. There is always a way to complement our knowledge with additional knowledge. I mean, there is no room for complacency. We have to learn and learn throughout our life. And that's why my advice to our young generations, to our youth, that we need to use every single opportunity to educate ourselves and to educate other people, to educate the people that, as you mentioned, that they can't read. The first word that was given from Allah to us, and the first word in the Quran is Iqra, read. So we have to read in order to understand everything and in order to be strong. Otherwise, we can be exploited, we can be used as a tool. And that's what we have seen in our world, in our region, how ignorant people became tools in the hands of some powers. So that's why all problems with the radicalization of extremism comes from ignorance of the people that they're using as a tool for their agenda, political agenda. That's why my advice, and again, is to read, to educate, and to learn as much as we can. Thank you very much again. Good luck and best wishes to our youth people.
Thank you very much, Excellency. On behalf of all the participants, I can read lots of messages of thanks for you and appreciation to all what you shared with us today. On behalf of His Excellency, Mr. Taha Ayhan, the ICYF team, and all the participants with us from all over the Muslim world and beyond, I would like to extend my thankfulness for this rich and special session. And we would like to have you more and more in ICYF platforms as one of our best speakers speakers. Thank you very much. Eid Mubarak to you and to your beloved ones, and have a wonderful holiday season, inshallah.
Happy Eid. Happy Eid, and thank you very much for this opportunity. Good luck. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Excellency. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear participants, we thank you for being with us today, and inshallah, we will see you in our upcoming session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.